Our topic to contemplate together today is finding lasting happiness. Wow. What if we figure it out? This would be great. I invite you to think for just, what's the first answer that comes in your mind? What makes you happy? And then ask again, what makes me happy? And then ask again, what makes me happy? There's so many layers, aren't there? I mean, it's seeing a friend makes us happy. Like eating when you've been really hungry makes you feel a sense of happiness too. There's so many things, so many types of ways we can feel happy, so many things that can give us a lift in life. And they pull at us all the time, don't they? We have all the things of our senses, like the extra cupcake. That was a thing for me after my son's birthday. And any kind of sense things like that. We're constantly bombarded with marketing messages all over about what kind of freedom we might feel if we buy that Jeep that we saw in the advertisement, driving through the desert, no inhibitions, off-road, everything. But if you buy it, you're still going to take your commute in it, and you're still going to run 1,000 errands in it. And did it give you a high? It might be really fun to drive, and it does give you a high. But is that the lasting happiness that we're contemplating today? I don't know. So is it wrong or right to buy the Jeep? I'm not here to say either, really. But is that an answer to the question of how do we find our lasting happiness? So many of these things that we can choose. We could choose them to be trying to find that place where we can grab onto a happiness that doesn't get shaken. And maybe this thing will be the answer. Maybe this thing will do it. Maybe this thing will do it. Maybe that other thing will do it. Do they do it? Do they just give us a temporary high? And it's okay that we experience highs and lows. Think about a wave. It's not wrong that it's a wave. It goes up and down all the time. It's part of it. But like a wave, we're part of something bigger too. And I think that is where, for me, I can see a glimmer of where a lasting happiness can be found. For me, I should say, I can even go into like the self-improvement section of the bookstore, and I'm like, okay, this is great. You know what? Being able to be in touch with that part of me that's bigger, if I could just like get my diet better in order, if I could, be a little bit more fit, I'd be more calm more of the time and have more energy, and that would help me be able to get to that space again more. Or I would really feel good about myself if I did those things, or if I got to that point, then I would feel good. That's the trick. If you feel like you have to get to a certain thing and then you'll feel good, you're looking outside yourself for it. So even with something so helpful as self-improvement, we can get a little caught up. So what do we do? This is a good question. I remember in college, I lived one year with a group of friends, and we had a quote board we had made up where, like, every time somebody said something funny, we'd write it up, and then we'd look back at it sometimes and laugh. And the quote that I said that got put up there, well, other quotes too, but the one that really stands out was, just out of the blue one day, I said, I have a new philosophy: feel good all the time. And for some of them, thought that was hilarious. And one person said, like, what? As if that would be healthy. And I have thought so many times over the years about that conversation, because it's both true, I think. if we are chasing after the next high, the next happy, the next great thing, the next vacation, the next new car, the next time I achieve my fitness goal, the next this, the next that, if we're chasing that to get ourselves to feel good and to cover up and avoid any lows that might come in our life, I think that's sort of like denying the fact that there are lows in life. At least that's how it has reflected through my life since that time of that conversation. And I also still have the same philosophy. But it's not from looking for something outside of myself to make it happen for me. Since discovering meditation, what I have begun to feel is that there is some greater part of myself that is always peace, love, and joy. And it is just my day-to-day awareness and my ego awareness and just getting caught up in everything outside of myself that makes me forget that that is part of my nature. And it is always here. I don't have to look for it. I don't have to go somewhere to get to it. I don't have to achieve something to get to it. Okay, so that's the philosophy. The practice is a whole lifelong activity that we, it's not, it's easier said than done. I have a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, who wrote prolifically on the present moment. And I feel this is pretty fitting because what I've said so far might make it kind of sound like there's no need to set goals, like it's kind of useless to do that in life. Like, why bother? Because that's not where your happiness is coming from. But as much as Thich Nhat Hanh advocated staying in the present moment, he was also a social activist. And so we can pair those two. We can make choices. We can make goals. We can do things that bring greater happiness to others, that are joyful moments for ourselves. We can make our bodies healthier. All of those things are possible from the source of knowing that it's coming from within us and coming out into our lives, manifesting as those things, and not the reverse. So, Thich Nhat Hanh's words here. The address of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas is here and now. That is the address of happiness, the address of life. The Buddha said, life is accessible only in the present moment. Life with all its wonders is accessible right now. So we train in coming back to the present moment. When you are sitting on your meditation cushion, you are established in the present moment. At that moment, you touch life deeply. During walking meditation, you do the same thing. Each step brings you back to your true home, the home of your spiritual ancestors, the present moment. It is in the present moment that life, peace, joy, happiness, and well-being are possible. Just read that last line again. It is in the present moment that life, peace, joy, happiness, and well-being are possible. Our quote today is about self-control. Self-control is the key to finding lasting happiness. And I'd like to propose, as Yogananda that said that, I'd like to propose something to contemplate, is turning over our choice making and our guidance, our control of our lives that we so seek, turning it over to the higher self within us. Let that be our meaning of self-control. Let that love and peace and joy guide our lives. As we go out together today, all the same choices remain in front of us. We have the choice to make them from a seeking to get something from them, or to make our choices as a flow out of the awareness that is within us.
Inshallah,